Today we're going to talk about the Evolution motor that saved Harley Davidson. Let's get to it. I want to personally thank a subscriber. Her name is Kit. She sent me the picture you saw me hanging on the wall for a Christmas present for Kraken's Garage this year. Thank you very much. I will enjoy it for many years to come. The Evolution motor, otherwise known as the Evo, that has been manufactured by Harley Davidson since 1994 for many different models. The engine design is often credited with saving Harley Davidson from bankruptcy after the management buyout and subsequent reorganization that the motor company went through during the 1980s. The name Evolution was likely strategically chosen to coincide with rebranding of the Moco that helped redefine Harley's image and long road to regain their market share. The Japanese competition had evolved. It was Harley's turn to see if they could step up to the plate and do it as well. Here's a great picture of the U.S. patent drawing for the original Evo motor dated February 26, 1985. I'll throw up on the screen. The Evo's design offered many advantages over the previous Harley-Davidson designs, like the panhead or the shovelhead. The most critical improvement were reliability and durability. The lion's share of the downfall of Harley-Davidson during the 70s had been due to the outdated engine designs. Japanese companies continued to be innovative, designing motorcycles that lasted longer and cost less to maintain than Harley's at that time. What little profit the motor company had selling those bikes during this time was spent on warranty claim due to pretty much shabby workmanship on the motor. Most Harley enthusiasts believe that the buyout, which included Willie G and 12 others, are the forward-thinking minds to bring the Evo V2 to the table and save the Moco. As much as we'd all like to think the AMF years were stagnant development-wise for the Moco, this simply isn't the case. The new management after the buyout were smart to bring the Evo to the market, but it simply isn't true that they did make it and save the company single-handedly. I've heard this often many times over the years in my lifetime. I'm definitely not a fan of AMF years in Harley-Davidson, having grown up around bikers that were constantly battling these death traps to start and keep running and cursing the whole way down the road. However, you have to give credit where credit is due. The Evo, as well as a very interesting V4 project in collaboration with Porsche called the Nova, was under development. It's a really interesting story I may look into doing a video on someday. The V-Rod wasn't the first Harley-Davidson Porsche project. The Evo was in development already, well underway during the wanting AMF years. The new management merely made the correct decision to continue the final bit of the process and bring it into the market. So when folks allude to the fact that the Evo was designed, built, and then saved the company after the buyout is utter nonsense. The newly designed Evo engine relied on aluminum heads and cylinders as opposed to other engines like the iron head, led to a lightweight engine with improved air cooling efficiency. Aluminum is a much better thermal conductor. Using aluminum also resulted in less wear and tear on the gaskets seals, making it more durable. The shovelhead gasket seals were made out of a combination of aluminum and cast iron, which caused unnecessary stress due to the different expansion rates and chemical properties of the two different metals. This improved durability not only helped Harley-Davidson to reestablish HD as an authority in the motorcycle industry, but also cut down significantly on the warranty repairs and claims. In 1986, Harley-Davidson upgraded the Sportster with the Evo. Unlike most of today's motorcycle engines, the Sportster uses just one cam per each overhead valve, resulting in 4 independent gear-driven camshafts. This resulted in cam lobes that are in line with each other, producing a parallel push rod configuration. This design allowed very powerful cams to be installed if you wanted to boost up the horsepower out of the Sporty. Enter in Eric Buell. You can see why he took the Sportster platform and ran with it on the Buell bikes. That's exactly why. There are very few differences between the 883 and the 1200cc Sportster. Just in the engines, basically, the 883 has a smaller bore, and that's pretty much it. There's some other minor changes, but it's basically the same motor. Believe it or not, installing a 1200cc kit on an 883 Sportster is much lower price than buying a factory 1200 Sportster. That's why you see a lot of them when you're looking at used bikes on the market. You see a lot of 883 Sportsters that were jumped up to 1200. It's an easy conversion. S&S makes a kit. Heck, Harley makes a kit for it as well as many others. It's hard for me to imagine a world without Harley-Davidson making motorcycles, but the truth is the company was very close to going bankrupt. In about a week, January 8th, 1969 will be the 52nd anniversary that American Machine Foundry purchased Harley-Davidson Motor Company. After purchasing Harley-Davidson in 1969, American Machine Foundry, AMF, had severely damaged the brand's image and reputation. Decisions to cut workforce, streamline production resulted in lower quality products and a workforce union that eventually led to a labor strike. AMF has always been billed as the bowling ball company that made motorcycles. AMF also made Voigt Sports, volleyballs, things of that nature. They were heavily into sports equipment, which included bowling as well. Ski-daddler snowmobiles, lawnmowers, French fry baggers, cigarette packaging machines, and electrical products. So during the AMF years, there's a reason why they made a national transition of bringing over golf carts, snowmobiles, things of that nature. They were just rebranding them under the Harley-Davidson badging. They also had a relationship with an Italian manufacturer. That's a whole nother video for another day, but that brought in a slew of single-cylinder, two-stroke dirt bikes and things like that that weren't worth very much then, didn't sell very well, but to collectors, they're very expensive right now. In 1968, AMF competed against Bangor Punta in a bidding battle to buy Harley-Davidson. Harley-Davidson's executives were adamant that the company not be sold to Bangor Punta. Bangor Punta as a corporation was an American conglomerate and a Fortune 500 company from 1964 to 1984. The corporation was a result of a merger of Punta Alegre Sugar and Railroad Company, formerly of Cuba, and the Bangor Aroostook, I think that's how you pronounce it, Railroad of Maine. Without Rodney Gott of AMF, Harley-Davidson would likely have gone bankrupt. Without Jerry Branch and Porsche, the biggest contributors to the Evo version 2, Harley-Davidson would have gone bankrupt in my uneducated opinion. They both deserve to be remembered. I hope you learned something today about the Evolution motor and the Evo and how it saved Harley-Davidson, and maybe cleared up some of the old wives' tales that you hear that how the company got saved. AMF should take a bow as well, because they started the whole Evo motor with Porsche, and it was pretty much in the final stages when they bought out the company. The 13 individuals, including Willie G, bought out the company and made Harley-Davidson to what it is today. There are more Evos on the road than any other motor in Harley-Davidson's lineup at this time. Iconically, the sound the Evo makes is the very sound that Harley-Davidson patented. And I have to give credit where credit's due, and AMF had a big role in that. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And there's my ghost dog in Kraken's Haunted Garage, who's telling me to wind up this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit that subscribe button down in the corner. And remember, folks, go ride. It's good for you. And I'll see you in the next one.